General Motors has been sending us a lot of good vehicles lately. There is a GMC Sierra pickup truck, the Chevy Traverse SUV, the Cadillac XT4 SUV. So I thought I'd make a call and get another one. So let's roll it out of our garage. Looks like we have a 2019 GMC Acadia. Has a reputation for being one of the better vehicles in their lineup. Guess we'll find out soon enough. By the way, last week we did a video on the Cadillac SUV XT4. We also did a video on the Chevy Traverse. We'll have links to these video tests coming up at the end of this video. Or if you're getting bored, you can fast forward to the end and click on right away. Your choice. In the meantime, let's switch back to the GMC test. The base price of an Acadia runs around $31,000 if you get the economy 4-cylinder version. This was loaded up with more goodies, so just under $46,000. I think it's a nice looking vehicle. And here we get a view from the side and the rear. As we do in all my videos, we're going to take the headlights out in the dark and see how they perform. Might as well get that done right now. It's dark enough. We're going to wipe the rain off these lenses, then take these lights out and see how they perform. Here we have the headlights on the building 100 feet away. Not the brightest light I've ever seen, but good height and good spread. High beams. Again, not the brightest, but good enough. Excellent height. Here we have the lights on the building 300 feet away. This is the high beam. Not the brightest I've ever seen, but good height, good widespread. Go to the low setting. Almost reaches out. More than adequate. I have no complaints. Also keep in mind, with all this rain and moisture in the air, we are losing some clarity. Again, no complaints with the lights overall. Here's what the cabin looks like in the dark. Not much to see here. A result of the very simple interior. That's all there is to see, folks. And along with the headlight test, another feature we're going to do is test the temperature on this paint with our little gun here. Because I've warned people in the past, black vehicles look good when they're washed in wax, but if you live where the climate is hot, they roast you alive. Unless you live in Alaska or Hawaii. I'm going to give you an example of this. It's a mild 79 degrees outside today. If I take a reading off of this white pickup truck, there's our reading, 93 degrees. Off our black vehicle, jumps up to 121. Fortunately, the Acadia has an excellent climate control system, blows lots of ice cold air, which helps, but does not solve the problem here. Bottom line, if you live in an area where it gets real warm in the summertime, dark colors and shades like this are best avoided. The base engine is a 4-cylinder, putting out 194 horsepower. Fuel economy is rated 21 in the city, 26 on the highway. Unless you get all-wheel drive, drops to 21 to 25 on the highway. Although why anybody would want all-wheel drive on such a small engine is puzzling to me. For that, you'd want to move up to a V6 like this to get more power and pulling ability. This 3.0-liter V6 has been around for a while, puts out 310 horsepower. Fuel economy is rated 18 to 25 mpg in front-wheel drive, or 17 to 25 if you order the all-wheel drive. On a vehicle that has all-wheel drive full-time, I can understand why the fuel economy figures might drop, but this is not a full-time system, it's part-time. The all-wheel drive only engages when you press a button, so unless you do that, the fuel economy figures should be the same as the front-wheel drive. But on the paper, it's not. Doesn't matter, we're going to take it out and test the real-world fuel economy in this video. In here we have a control button, gives two-wheel drive, all-wheel drive, all-wheel drive sport, and the 4th for serious off-roading. For this price bracket, I was expecting an 8-speed automatic. Instead, we get a 6-speed. It performs well enough. I'm not complaining. The grade of materials used in this vehicle isn't exactly outstanding, just average run-of-the-mill, but again, I'm not complaining. Serves its purpose. This is sold as a 7-passenger, but we have 2 bucket seats in the second row, so that knocks us down to 6. The third row seats are roomier than most, and of course do fold down if you need more storage space. I think 73 cubic feet is what you get if you do that. There is a storage compartment under this floor, and under the storage compartment is a spare tire. It's going to take a lot of work getting it out though. Hang on to your owner's manual if you get a flat. There's one feature I like about the Acadia and General Motors SUVs in general. That is, the door goes all the way down on the bottom, which means this entire area stays clean from mud, sleet, and other road debris, which means it doesn't get on your pants. Thank you, GM, for getting it right. Fortunately, I'm wearing my Budweiser racing pants today, so I don't care if I get dirt on them. Just call me the fashion king. The glove box has lots of room for your personal items. Another storage container between the seats. The audio system, very simple to use. Real knobs, thank you. Climate control, easy to use. Real knobs, thank you. If you want heated or air-conditioned seats, just press a simple button the way it should be. We get an excellent gauge cluster, lots of useful information in between. There are buttons behind the steering wheel allowing you to control the stations you want to listen to on the radio. I did have one complaint, the same thing I had on the Cadillac XT4 I drove last week. The emergency buttons are too close to these other controls. In the dark, you don't want to hit that by accident, but you will eventually. The bottom line, yes, the materials on the cabin could be a little bit better, but it's no big deal. Everything else is just fine. So let's move on to the second half of the video, where we're going to do a lot of driving, get some fuel economy readings. Just for the record, I've been doing a lot of heavy city driving, almost 68 miles. Here's the fuel economy I've been getting. Not bad, really. More to come. This power steering has pretty good feel and feedback regardless of the mode you put the vehicle in. I think most people will be happy. Let's take the turning circle in front wheel drive. See if we can spin this out. A lot of body lean, but it's hanging in there. Now we'll try it in the sport all-wheel drive mode. Slight improvement, I would say. As we do in all of my videos, we're going to take some speed bumps at 20 to 25 miles per hour to see how the suspension performs on impact. This is in the normal two-wheel drive mode, by the way. Bump number 1, pretty solid. Number 2, very solid body structure. Number 3, and the nasty one. Pretty smooth considering we're running around 36 pounds of air in the tires. Smooth enough for me anyway. One thing that is really annoying me every time I turn the vehicle on, I get this warning chime telling me the power lift gate has been turned off. Yeah, I know that. I turned it off. And I got on the computer, disconnected all the chimes, but the chime will not go away. Here you go. Yeah, I know. I turned it off. I don't need to hear this chime every time I turn on the vehicle. I guess I'm just stuck with it. In any case, the fact that you can disconnect the power rear door is a good feature to have, because if you're camping and you're going in and out all the time, you don't want to use the power door and run your battery down. A lot of vehicles don't have a disconnect for the rear power door. You'd be surprised. But we get it on this vehicle, and I'm glad. We're going to reset the miles per gallon meter, take a highway trip, see if we can bump the figures up a bit. We're coming towards the end of our trip. According to the EPA, if you recall, we should be getting 25 miles per gallon if we have all-wheel drive engaged and 27 in front-wheel drive. And at the moment, I have it engaged in front-wheel drive. So it should be interesting to see what we get as our figure. By the way, this is a very comfortable vehicle to drive on the freeway. Smooth, reasonably quiet. A lot of wind noise from the mirrors, but otherwise not an issue. Comfortable seats. This would be great for a long trip. Here you go, 27.3 mpg. We're going to do some four-wheeling, but first I have to stop by the old ranch house and pick up some goodies. Needs a little bit of work. Like the sunroof on my garage, though. Uh-oh. The vultures are circling. Something died on the road. Glad it's not me. With 7.2 inches of ground clearance, this vehicle is capable of going off-road. Even more so if you have the all-wheel drive version for running in sand and mud. Just keep in mind the off-roading is for light-duty use only. It's not a Land Rover or Jeep Wrangler. Keep that in mind, you'll be just fine. This vehicle does pretty good off pavement, even in front-wheel drive mode, as long as you're not running in sand or mud and you have to switch to all-wheel drive. For a light-duty vehicle, I really don't have any complaints. Aside from this black paint, which is making me roast alive in this summer heat. It's kind of hot in here. It's a hard color to keep clean, too. We'll be going to the car wash as soon as we get back into town, that's for sure. Pardon me, did I say summer heat? It's only April 14th, but it is 92 degrees outside. I'd say that's summer heat to me. We're going to take a second highway test, approximately 100 miles, see what fuel economy we get. So don't go away. Fighting these 30-mile-per-hour winds isn't doing much for my fuel economy. And I hope I don't get clobbered by this mini tornado coming at us. And we'll find out soon enough. We're reaching the end of our trip. We're going to pull over and see what the fuel economy readings say. And by the way, with the 30-mile-per-hour winds we're fighting, and the slight increase in elevation by 2,000 feet, which means we're going slightly uphill, I doubt we're going to see better than 24 miles per gallon, but you never know. We'll find out soon enough. Okay, let's see what we got. I bet we're close to 24. Yep, 23.8. Not bad, really. This is our third and last fuel economy trip. Another 100 miles racked up on the clock, going slightly downhill in elevation. So perhaps we'll get a better figure on our fuel economy meter this time. This is one of the worst windstorms we've had in a while. 30 miles per hour pushing up against the vehicle, but the stability of this GMC is very impressive. It doesn't seem to be affected very much, although I'm sure the fuel economy will be. It's got to be going downhill, pushing all this air. Well, I was getting 27 in the gallon until I turned into the headwinds. So 21.8, that's about the best we're going to see. But we do know that 27 to 26 mpg on the freeway is the normal miles per gallon from our previous testing. And I'm not complaining about that. Looks like we're reaching our goal of 500 miles. And during that time, we've averaged 20.5 miles to the gallon. Time to wrap up this video. So after a week of driving, do I have any complaints about this vehicle? I'm not going to harp on the black paint. All manufacturers offer black paint. If you like it, get it. If you don't get it. So that's on the side. And as far as the cheap materials used in the interior, not that big a deal because the interior controls are very easy to use. So I was still happy. Other than that, I really like the Acadia. It's a nice vehicle you can drive every day. Nice engine with good power, decent economy, lots of room, great suspension. Nice rig. I highly recommend it. And keep in mind, this is the 6-cylinder version I'm talking about. I haven't tried the 4-cylinder. Maybe next time. Coming up are 2 other video tests we did on the Chevrolet and Cadillac SUVs. Click and watch.